Now, in this dream I had, we was like in a theater. It was a huge theater, and I remember there was group there was the section where I was in. It was a bunch of brothers that I know that are in the truth, and then there was a table up top where the I saw some of the apostles and elders mingling up there, and all of us were on a like a like a balcony type deal, and we were we were we were watching. It was like tables. It was food. You know, it was all of us were sitting down at tables. It was like this big long table, and it had like food. And the it's the food was like was moving around like in a circle, so real slow. So when you saw something you like, you could just grab it. And you know, we was all sitting there, and we was watching this. We was watching a movie about our lives in Babylon, man. You know, and we was watching like, man, like how people have fucked us over in this world. You know, especially brothers' wives that left. That left them. Men that that left the truth. People that saw us on the street corner was like, these stupid niggas. You know, we was watching all of these things. We was, brothers actually, you know, shedding tears, man, because they was vexed dealing with people, man, being hurt by people, man. You know, and we was watching. It was like it looked at real. It looked at like real people. The movie did, but it was almost like a hologram. But it looked at like real scenes and real people. You know, and you know, it was just movies of brothers going through hardships with family members, with wives, losing wives, being talked about and amongst their family members, uh, uh, children growing up and turning their back on them, and and brothers, shedding tears about things, and then then going around brothers and acting like everything is okay. And man, it was like it was. I didn't see like it wasn't a whole movie, but I just saw flashes of different scenes of people, of men, of the men that's in the truth lives, and the hardship that they was going through in this world, man. And the movie ended, and everybody got up, and all of the elect, the brothers that all of the upper echelon brothers, you know, stood up and was clapping and cheering, you know, but the people that was down on the bottom looked at sad, man. They looked at sad, you know, and so I was, I look back, at one of my wives, and she was just bawling, crying, man, crying. And she was apologizing. She was apologizing, saying, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I shouldn't have did that to you. I'm so sorry." And I was like, "No, it's okay. We in the kingdom." And she was just like, "No, no, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry." And she was just crying, just crying. And she cried all the way out of the theater, you know, all the way out of the theater. When I left, when we walked out of the door of the theater, there was a sea of people on their knees mourning, crying, man, because they saw themselves in their wicked forms, man, on this movie that we was watching. And The elect brothers was trying to pull them up off the ground, trying to comfort them. Hey, we in the kingdom, it's okay. Hey, we ain't sinning now, and they would not leave. I mean, a sea of people mourning and crying, asking the Lord, repenting to the Lord, man, saying I'm sorry. I should have listened, and we could not we could not comfort these people. They were hurt. They were hurt, man. And we was just walking through the crowd, or we was, brothers was quoting scriptures and, scriptures of comfort, but these people, the whole time, we was ministering to these people. They was bowed with their faces on the ground, man, and they would not get up. They would not get up. We was trying to help them up. It was like, no. And people were crying. And, even though like the wives that was with us that was crying, they was kind of like getting looks from sisters that were of the elect, like, damn, that's, that was kind of fucked up, sis. Like, they were ashamed, man. Women that committed adultery on us, women that left us, women that even jumped in our faces and talked shit to us, man, were ashamed. And that's the beauty of serving YAHAWASHI, man. The beauty of serving the Lord is, when we get our kingdom, I don't want to be ashamed. I don't want to be sad. I'm sad now. And that's why we suffer now. So when we get in the kingdom, hey, scriptures say, hey, the Lord began to commend them that stood so stiffly for his name, man. When we get in the kingdom, man, we're going to be happy, man. And we're going to be enjoying, because we doing our crying now. We doing our hurting now. And all of these people that's just out here just running from pleasure to pleasure, trying to find happiness in this place, man, they all going to be ashamed, man. They're going to be sad. I mean, these people were mourning. All of them were on their knees with their face on the ground, crying. All of them. And they were everywhere. So, man, that when I had that dream, that was a while back, some months back. When I had that dream, I wanted to do a lesson on it, but the Spirit wasn't on me to do a lesson on it then. But the Spirit recently hopped on me, because I had that other dream, and then I was like, man, this dream just came in my head and it just wouldn't leave. So I was like, well, maybe it's time to do a lesson on it. All these people that's chasing this world now, all you Israelites that is sold out, that is just being wicked, evil, and won't change, man. In the kingdom, you ain't gonna just walk into happiness, man. You gonna mourn, man. You gonna mourn and you gonna cry, and you gonna be hurt looking at yourself being wicked, man. Being wicked your whole life, and it's all recorded. And you gonna see it, man. And in the righteous mind, when you get in your righteous state, it's gonna hurt you, man. You're gonna be hurt because you did not choose to fear the Lord, man, because you turned your back on the Lord, man.
Daniel chapter 12, And verse 2, and many of them that sleep in the dust of the earth shall awake, some to everlasting life, and some to shame and everlasting contempt. And they that be wise shall shine as the brightness of the firmament, and they that turn many to righteousness as the stars forever and ever. I want to give all praises, all honors, and all glories unto YAHAWAH YAHAWASHI, Bahashim QADASH. Double honors to my elders and my apostles of Great Milestone, that doing you well. Peace, blessings, and salutations be unto the elect, the afflicted, the 1/3, Shalom. This is Brother Dawadah coming back at you with another video through the spirit and power of YAHAWAH YAHAWASHI. Today, this video will be a response to the brother whose channel's name is GMS Vent. And you heard the excerpt from his video at the beginning of this video that I'm doing now, which he had a beautiful vision of this scripture here in Daniel, the 12th chapter and the 2nd verse taking place. And I'm just going to add on to it through the spirit of YAHAWAH YAHAWASHI, a couple precepts, whatever comes to mind, and RAWCHAA, which means Lord's will. This video will be edifying. Daniel chapter 12 and verse 2. And many of them that sleep in the dust of the earth. Dust represents confusion. Alright? What's an example of that? All the lies, alright, that is within the people's minds. Alright? A great example is their unbelief in these holy scriptures. Alright? Them going to these other philosophies, these other religions, that's all part of them being within that dust, which represents being in a state of confusion. Alright? But the members of the elect, they're not in that state of confusion. Let's go ahead and prove that. Let's go from there to the book of Isaiah, the 52nd chapter. And let's start at the top. This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 52, and verse 1. Awake, awake, put on thy strength. What's our strength? This word. O Zion, that's the nation of Israel. Alright. Put on thy beautiful garments. That's this knowledge, this truth. O Jerusalem, the holy city. It's talking about the people. Jerusalem is a people before it's a place. Alright. Because how can a city put on garments? And the garments is a metaphor for this word. Alright. Or rather the understanding of this word, I should rather say. There's a proof of that is in the book of Sirach. Ecclesiasticus chapter 27 and verse 8. If thou followest righteousness, thou shalt obtain her. What's the her? Wisdom. And put her on as a glorious long robe. So that's talking about wisdom. So the garments that it's talking about in the book of Isaiah, the 52nd chapter, is a metaphor for wisdom. Alright? Wisdom. So we have one more scripture on that. Let's go to the book of Baruch, which Baruch was the scribe of Jeremiah. Baruch in the Apocrypha. Like we read the book of Lamentations, it was Baruch who actually scribed that down. This is the book of Baruch, chapter 5, verse 1. Put off, O Jerusalem, that's the nation of Israel, the garment of thy mourning and affliction. A great example of that is slavery. Alright, and also that slave mentality. And put on the comeliness. Another word for comely is beauty. And put on the comeliness of the glory that cometh from the Most High forever. That's what? Those beautiful garments, this knowledge, this truth. Alright, that's why in the book of Revelation it speaks about keeping your garments. Now what's that talking about? Is that talking about your garment? Like your clothes? No, it's talking about this knowledge. That's why it says, that which thou hast already, hold fast till I come. Revelation 3 and 10. Right? Or rather 3 and 11. So you're supposed to hold on to this knowledge. You have to keep your garment on. That's why it says in the book of Sirach, the 1st chapter. I'll grab that. One of my favorite precepts, which I have many. Sirach 1 in verse 19. Wisdom raineth down skill and knowledge of understanding, and exalteth them to honor that hold her fast. You see? So those garments, that which thou hast already, hold fast till I come. That's talking about your garments, which is this knowledge, this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding of the Bible. So going back to the book of Isaiah, the 52nd chapter. Isaiah 52 and verse 1. Awake, awake, put on thy strength, O Zion, put on thy beautiful garments, that's this knowledge, O Jerusalem, the holy city, for henceforth there shall no more come into thee the uncircumcised and the unclean. Shake thyself from the dust. You see? Shake thyself from the dust. The dust is a metaphor for confusion. Alright? Shake thyself from the dust. Arise and sit down, O Jerusalem. Jerusalem is a people before it's a place. Alright? Loose thyself from the bands of thy neck. The bands of our neck is all the different cares, all the oppression that we're suffering under this captivity. Alright? Loose thyself from the bands of thy neck, O captive daughter of Zion. Yeah, because as it's written, yet unto this day are we yet still in our captivity. That's in the book of Baruch, roughly paraphrasing. So it says, shake thyself from the dust. Get out of that confused state. How are you shaking up from the dust? By way of waking up to this knowledge, coming into this truth. And only the elect are going to do that. So, and that's pursuant to Romans 11 and 7. What then? Israel have not obtained that which he seeketh for, but the election have obtained it, and the rest were blinded. Romans 11 and 7. So going back to the book of Daniel, the 2nd chapter, or rather the 12th chapter, Daniel 12 and verse 2. And it reads, and many of them that sleep in the dust of the earth shall awake, some to everlasting life. Which was that? That's the members of the elect. Alright? And some to everlasting shame and contempt. Now, who are those? Those are the 2/3. Those that heard this truth and fanned their hands and talked shit, scoffed, mocked, scorned. You know, that's them. Alright? They're going to be ashamed for a period of time in the kingdom of heaven. And that's what the brother was going into within the vision that YAHAWASHI gave him. Alright? Just imagine the woman that left you, you know, committed adultery, cheated on you, like the brother mentioned. You know, they're going to be ashamed in the kingdom, you know, for a certain period of time. You know, your friends in the world that talk stuff against you, you know, wanted to fight you, wanted to get you beat up, all because you tried to tell them that they're Israelite. They tried to teach them out of the Bible. They're going to be ashamed for a period of time. You know, the friends that say, hey, I don't want you around no more. You know, we all got different stories of that. You try to tell, you know, your best friend, you know, about this knowledge, about this truth, and they look at you like you're crazy. You know, and the scriptures tell us that was what was going to be happening. Let's go to the book of 1 Peter, the 4th chapter. 1 Peter 4:1. For as much then as Yahawashi Mashiach suffered for us in the flesh, which he did, arm yourselves likewise with the same mind. So you have to have that same mindset that Yahawashi, he suffered, so we also must suffer. As is written, the servant is not greater than his master. For he that has suffered in the flesh have ceased from sin. Yeah, because when you come to this knowledge of truth, you try your absolute best not to sin, not to go off. What is sin? The transgression of the law. So you try your best not to transgress the law, statutes, and commandments of Yahweh Ba'al because the law, statutes, and commandments are still in effect. So you try your best not to do that. And if you do go off, you pray to the Most High for forgiveness, so you try your best not to repeat it. Verse 2, that he no longer should live the rest of his life in the flesh to the lust of man. Yeah, that's what we were doing back when we were in the world. All right? Smoking weed, committing adultery, smoking black and mouths, you know, robbing stores, shoplifting, all of that, the whole nine, disrespecting our parents, disrespecting and basically every and anyone, basically being a nigga. That's what we were doing. That he no longer should live the rest of his time in the flesh to the lust of men, but to the will of the Most High. So now that you've been awakened to this knowledge of truth, now that you've shaken yourself from that dust, that confused state that we were all in, now you're doing the will of the Most High, which is to do this work, going along the highways and hedges, teaching this word, studying, praying, fasting. It's all part of the will of the Most High. Right? For the time, here's the point, for the time past of our life may suffice us to have wrought the will of the Gentiles when we walked in lasciviousness, lust, excess of wine, revelings, banquetings, and abominable idolatries. We were involved in all that back when we were in the world. Wherein they think it strange. Who is the they? Those are your friends. Alright? It also includes your family members, those that are close to you, those that know you, your uncles. Wherein they think it strange that you run not with them to the same excess of riot, speaking evil of you. So they look at you sideways now. Oh, he an Israelite. Oh, he don't eat pork, talking shit about you. Oh, no, I don't like him. Man, I don't even go around him no more. Hey, don't mess with him. He weird. You know, talking all types of crazy. Oh, he believe in UFOs. So he's one of those conspiracy theorists. So he's crazy. He's bugged out. He's a nut. You know, that's how they look at you. Meanwhile, you're looking at them like, no, I'm not bugged out. You are. All right? Here it is, you're in the car by yourself with the mask on. You're the one bugged out. You know? But they speak evil of you. All right? But here it is, you're doing the will of the Most High. That's how you know, as it's written, the whole earth lieth in wickedness. This whole earth is corrupt. And what did Apostle Paul say? The fashion of this world passeth away. All right? And how is all this stuff that we see going to pass away? 2 Peter the 3rd chapter in the 8th verse, I believe, it's either 8th or the 10th verse, tells you that the heavens which are now shall pass away with a great noise. So Esau's rulership is getting ready to pass away. As is written, I'm going to hop down to verse 7, but the end of all things is at hand. The end of this wicked age is at hand. The end of these scoffers, these scorners, all that is at hand. It tells us in the book of Proverbs that judgments are prepared for scorners and stripes for the backs of fools. So eventually they're going to be judged. That's why it says in 2nd Ezra, the 15th chapter, let not the incredulity of them trouble thee. The incredulity meaning the unbelief. Why? Because it says in the book of Romans, the 3rd chapter, in the 4th verse, what? Shall their unbelief make the faith of the Most High to none effect? Meaning, just because they don't believe, is that going to stop these prophecies from taking place? And then it says, no. It says, God forbid, which means no. Let the Most High be true and every man a liar. All right? So just because they don't believe, that ain't going to stop these prophecies from taking place. All right? That's why it says in Isaiah 55:11, the word of the Most High doesn't go out void. And the Most High is not a man that he shall lie. Tells us that in the book of Numbers. All right? So everything that's written of within these scriptures are going to take place. As is written, they are faithful and true. 2nd Ezra, the 15th chapter, in the 2nd verse. All right? So here it is, they're speaking evil of you for doing the will of the Most High. Those same ones that speak evil of you in the kingdom of heaven, they're going to be looking down, heads down. All right? The family members that gave you a rough time on this side, they're going to be looking at you like, dang, hey, Salakia. You know? Your brothers in the world. That's why Yahawashi said, a prophet is not without honor except within his own country. Let's grab that in the book of Mark. Yahawashi didn't say that for no reason. Let's go to the book of Mark, the 6th chapter, which I didn't have anything prepared. It is all through the Spirit. So Salak if I'm a little all over the place. Mark 6, and let's start at the top. And he, that'd be Yahawashi, went out from thence and came into his own country. What was Yahawashi's own country? Nazareth. All right, Nazareth. Which Nazareth was basically like the hood, so to speak. That's why they said, can any good thing come out of Nazareth? That's in John, the 3rd chapter. Why did they say that? Because that was basically the hood. All right. And he went out from thence. It came, and that's that also shows you that we are the Israelites. Because what does Jake always say? Damn, I made it out the hood. Oh, bro, you made it out the hood? Dang, you from the hood? Can any good thing come out of Nazareth? You see? Links right up. You know? And he went out from thence and came into his own country, and his disciples followed him. And when the Sabbath day was come, he began to teach in the synagogue. And many hearing him were astonished, saying, that was the actual thing, because on the Sabbath, all right, because I believe there's another account where, let me see if I can find it. Because there was another account where I believe it was on the Sabbath day where they were reading or teaching out of the scrolls. Yahawashi picked up a scroll and said, "This day uh, uh, is this scripture fulfilled in your ears?" Let me see if I can find that. So let's go to the book of Luke, the 4th chapter. Luke chapter 4. Let's start at 16. So it's the same account, but just said a little bit differently. And he came to Nazareth where he had been brought up. So Yahawashi was brought up in Nazareth. All right, he was brought up in Nazareth. So in other words, that's his hood, so to speak, like Jake says. That's my hood. That's my city. So this is where Yahawashi was actually brought up in. And as his custom was, he went into the synagogue on the Sabbath day. All right, so that shows that we're supposed to be out there teaching, and stood up for to read. Now let's jump back to the book of Mark. Mark, the 4th chapter. Mark chapter 4 and verse 2. And when the Sabbath day was come, he began to teach in the synagogue, and many hearing him were astonished, saying, "From whence hath this man these things?" Meaning this wisdom. All right. How does he have this great wisdom? Just the same applies now. Your family members look at you sideways like, "Oh, how you know all this?" But in the same breath, they're like, "Nah, I ain't gonna believe him. Hey, that's my little brother. Man, he don't know what he talking about. Oh, that's my little cousin. They look at you. They look down on you because they don't see you as being a prophet. All right, they don't see you as being a man of the Lord. They don't see you being a servant of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahawashi. They just see you as being a regular person. But they don't know that there's a special spirit within you. That's why when we look up first fruits in the book of James, the 1st chapter, it goes to those that are superior in class to his counterparts. So the members of the elect are superior to the rest of these Israelites. Superior in every way, shape, form, and fashion. Point blank, period, like Jake says. All right? There is no other people, no other group of people that is over the elect. None is over the elect. All right? Except for YAHAWAH, YAHAWASHI. Underneath Yahawashi is King David and the rest of the elect. Those are the highest seats you could possibly have. And they are superior in class and excellence to the rest of their counterparts, which you pray and hope to be numbered amongst those great men. Even in the book of Jeremiah, the Most High Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahawashi, called his elect great men. He said, "I will go and get me onto the great men." That's the members of his elect. And that's what we pray and hope to be a part of. Mark, the 6th chapter, in verse 2. And when the Sabbath day was come, he began to teach in the synagogue, and many hearing him were astonished, saying, "From whence hath this man these things? And what wisdom is this which is given unto him, that even such mighty works are wrought by his hands? Is not this the carpenter?" In other words, they're like, "Don't I know him?" Don't I know him? Because before Yahawashi started his ministry, he was a carpenter. Like, hey, I know him. He work at Big Lots. Oh, he work at the Cadillac. He work at Chrysler. Oh no, I seen him in McDonald's. No, don't he bust tables at such and such store? Don't he flip burgers at this place? Hey, I know him. You know, the son of Mary. Yeah, his mama Mary, the brother of James and Joses and of Judah. Another Judah is Jude that you read about in the book of Jude, that the book that's before the book of Revelation. Jude was the biological brother of Yahawashi, and so was James. When you read about the book of James, that was his biological brother. And Joses and Simon, those two also are Yahawashi's biological brothers. And James and Jude, all right, those two were in the faith, and Joses and Simon were not. All right. So they knew. They're like, hey, yeah, he got his brothers, and I know his brothers and stuff, because he had biological brothers. All right. And are not his sisters here with us? All right. So Yahawashi has sisters also. All right. But notice the names of the men were mentioned, but not the names of his sisters, which shows you that men are of more importance than women. And that's just how it is. All right. As is written, the head of every man is Yahawashi, and the head of every woman is the man. And the head of Yahawashi is the Most High, Yahawah. So there is an order. And they were offended at him. Yeah, so they're like, don't I know him? They're like, don't I know him? They were offended at him. They didn't receive him. But Yahawashi said unto them, a prophet is not without honor, but in his own country, and among his own kin, and in his own house. And that's so true. Because you know who's the first group of people that come up against you when you first wake up to the fact that you're an Israelite? Your own family members. Because as soon as you come to this truth, you want to tell them. You want to tell your mom, your brother, your uncles, your nieces, your nephews, your big cousin, your little cousin, your grandma, your granddad, your great-great-granddaddy, if he's still alive, or your granddad or your grandmom. You try to tell every and anybody. And they're the first ones to come up against you. Oh, no, I don't believe that. Oh, no, you crazy. Oh, no, if you want to keep talking about that, you can't be in my house anymore. That happens. The disrespect. Oh, Lord, I don't subscribe to that Israelite thing. But hey, keep doing what you're doing, because best believe that your labor is not in vain in the Lord, as it is written. All right, as it is written, the Most High is not unrighteous to forget your works and labor of love. See that ye have ministered unto the saints and do minister. All right, we're ministering right now, ministering this word unto the nation of Israel. And Yahweh Baal Shem Yahushua is seeing all that we do and all that we're going through. And there's a great reward prepared for those that have suffered. All right? 1 Peter chapter 4, verse 4. Where they think it strange that you run not with them to the same excess of riot, speaking evil of you. Oh, he don't even smoke weed no more, man. I don't hang with him, man. He a weirdo. All he do is talk about the Bible. It's scoffing. But let them continue to do so, because as is written, judges are prepared for scorners and stripes for the backs of fools. Remember, the Most High, Yahweh Baal Shem Yahushua, is long-suffering. All right? So, let's go from there to back to the book of Daniel. So, as is written in 1 Peter 4 and 7, but the end of all things is at hand, be therefore sober and watch unto prayer. So the end of this age is at hand, and the end of the scoffing and scorning is also at hand. Because the end of Esau's age, the end of his rulership, directly following that is the kingdom of heaven. So that period of scoffing is coming to a fast halt, just as much as Esau's kingdom is coming to a quick halt. All right? And when all hell breaks loose, there ain't going to be no more scoffing. All right? Because as is written, yes shall they know that a prophet hath been among them. When are they going to know that? When the things that the prophets have been speaking of comes to pass. Daniel 12, verse 2. Many of them that sleep in the dust of the earth shall awake, some to everlasting life, and some to everlasting shame and contempt. So they're going to be ashamed for a period of time in the kingdom, walking with their heads down. Now, don't get me wrong, they're going to be rich, they're going to be wealthy, they're going to have many wives, many children, much land, much wealth, much substance. But at the end of the day, they're Israelites. They're going to be good. But for a certain period of time, they're going to have their head down, knowing that they scoffed, knowing that they rejected this word, knowing that they spoke ill against the men of the Lord. That's going to happen. Verse 3. And they that be wise, that's the elect, shall shine as the brightness of the firmament. When are the elect going to shine? The kingdom of heaven. It tells us that in the book of Matthew, the 13th chapter. All right? And they that turn many to righteousness, that's what the prophets are doing, turning many to righteousness, turning many Israelites back to this knowledge, this truth, as the stars forever and ever. So the elect are going to be the new superstars. All right? The elect will be the new superstars in the kingdom of heaven. Just as much as everyone knows about Kendrick Lamar and Kodak Black and Cardi B and Will Smith and Eminem and blah, 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 right? In the kingdom of heaven, everyone's going to know about the members of the elect. And people are going to read about you. That's why it speaks about the writings of the house of Israel. Because there's going to be writings written about the men of the Lord and what they went through. All right? So we're living in beautiful times. So just stay within this knowledge, this truth. You know? Cling onto it, hold on to it, as is written. That which thou hast already, hold fast till I come. So hold this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding until YAHAWASHI comes back. Hold it until the end. Because that's when YAHAWASHI will come back, at the end. All right? With that, all praises, honors, and glories be unto Yahweh, Baal Shem YAHAWASHI, Baal Shem QADASH. Double honors to my elders and my apostles of Great Milestone. They're doing it real well. Peace, blessings, and salutations be unto the elect, the afflicted, the one third. With that being said, Shalom. RAWCHAA, Shalom.